Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, number 25 of Be the Change, I want to talk about reinvention. It's time to reinvent yourself. We are now in the midst of this global intermission, this pause. And whether you've been at it for a couple of weeks or 5 weeks or somewhere in between there, it looks like some of us have a little further to go. But in the time that we have spent as we work towards freedom and freedom of movement again, which is coming, it's a good time to look at your life, look at what you have realized over the last few weeks, how you have adapted, what skills you have, and what you like, what you don't like, and what you want to bring in and what you want to let go from your life. There are so many memes and things and sayings about, thank God it's Friday and oh no, it's Monday, and working towards a retirement that people think is idyllic or their dream, and they scrimp and save and don't use the good china and wait for that day when they're going to have happiness every day, make them feel good, because overall they don't feel good because overall they're not aligned. Alignment is when your beliefs, what you feel is important to you, how you want to live in your authentic self, regardless of what everybody else thinks you should do, or what you have said you were going to do, but now it's not really who you are, or choices that you make which you think define you or stick you in a certain box, and then going off and taking jobs or doing things that contradict who you are at your core. That's why you look forward to Fridays. That's why you may dread Mondays. There are actually statistics on heart attacks on early Monday morning because the body and the brain is saying, oh no, we're going to go to that place where those people are that we don't like, or do those things that we don't like, or we're working in an industry that's against what we believe socially, and maybe we work for a polluter, but we really are more environmentally conscious, or the drug company I work for is selling these things that hurt people instead of help people, or whatever it is. You are not aligned at some point if you are that miserable. So you owe it to yourself to be aligned, and this is a perfect time to call it a reinvention, call it a renewal, call it whatever you would like. I'm calling it reinvention for purposes of this video number 25 and Be the Change, but I'm talking about more than just what you do. We've talked about projects and social awareness and volunteerism and creative projects and all of the different things that we talk about individually about being the change. And our theme throughout all this was for each one of us to change, to then change the world in any small or large part. Because now more than ever, I hope we all realize we are one people. We are divided by geography, we are divided by climate, we are divided by oceans, we are divided somewhat by politics, but we are all the same. And the happier one of us is, it spreads like wildfire, and the happier all of us are. We can live in an actual happy world by first being happy with ourselves, and aligned and fulfilled and in congruence with our beliefs and with integrity. Lewis said, "You're never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream." And another quote that I really like from Magenta Pixie is, "We're not here to know the path, we're here to walk the path with knowing." And to me, that is knowing what we want, knowing what we can do, knowing what we contribute, and knowing where we want to go, and what kinds of experiences we want to have, and what kind that we don't want to have. Adults, we don't get a lot of natural breaks. Growing up, you can think back. Growing up, you had all kinds of natural breaks. You had going from being at home to starting school and being around new kids, to getting into activities, to going back to school after the summer. Every year growing up, most of us had a summer break. And it was a very natural time of renewal because when we would go back to school, the classes were shuffled up. Now, as you progress, moving to new schools where there were further new people. So you got into these all new environments on a fairly regular basis. Then you go away to college. Then you're starting all over again. You can go away to a school not where you have grown up or not where you were just living and completely reinvent yourself. No one knows you. When no one knows you, you can act in any way you want because they're not coming at you. You don't act this way. They're not holding you to behavior patterns that you have shown them. So then as we are adults, we then switch over into we bond, we have marriage, we have children, and now we step into new roles that we have to shed some of our old ways in order to take on new responsibilities, but you don't have to lose yourself. And as you grow and change and see other options, there is no rule that says you have to be the same for the rest of your life. That you can't adopt new things, that you can't eat different foods, that you can't dress differently, that you can't live differently, that you can't have things around you or experiences that are different. So let's use this time as our giant summer break. When we go back, and I predict not everyone's going to go back, but some of us will go back to our job if it's still there. Some of us will branch off into our new venture that we have started over these past several months, or that we're now getting into, talking to other colleagues. If that industry has irrevocably changed, it's time to regroup and make plans. So this is a perfect time to step in to the next chapter of our lives in a new way and have an exhilarating feeling when you wake up Monday morning. Or maybe you don't work on Mondays. Maybe your days that you work is different. Maybe you have enough saved up that you don't want to return to that type of a schedule or that type of work anymore. Maybe you don't need to. Maybe you have been saving and maybe now you can take that money and use it and not wait for tomorrow. So it's your life. We have the ability and I think the obligation to free ourselves and live a happy life. So, of course, I have suggestions on how to go about doing this to help you come into your new pattern, your new paradigm, your new way of being. So we've already thought about this before. We've already talked about it. What do you like? What do you not like? What do you want to bring in? What do you want to let go of? You have to have some type of clarity. What do you want to leave open? Whether that's trying out new ideas or leaving open space in your schedule. I know that different people travel in different ways. Some people don't travel at all, but those who do travel, some like to just veg out on the beach, others like to explore and have experiences, others like to visit museums and absorb history. Others like to do an Airbnb and actually live in a neighborhood in another country and just experience the culture from an everyday, ordinary person vantage point. And then some people like to mix it up and try all of those depending upon where the location is or what time of year or what the particular what is available at that time to them for the time that they have allotted. So think about doing that in your own life. What does your ideal life look like? Big picture. How would you feel? What would you be doing? Where would you live? How would you act? What would you be doing? Just sit back, close your eyes, and think about it. Picture it. Things that you don't like around you now are gone. They're gone. The window is open. You're looking out the window. What do you see? Who is there? What does it look like? All right, so you need to envision your picture. Don't be too specific, but in general, what does that look like? Now, back up from the window. What are you wearing? What are your living situation? What does it look like? What does your living space look like? Do you have plants in there? Is it clean surfaces? Is it more country? Is it rustic? How does it differ from what you live in now or how you live now? How about your clothes? How about the people that are around you? What does your day-to-day look like? Sit down and write out what your new life looks like. What is there? Who's around you? What fills your days? Do you have 1,000 hobbies that you never get to spend any time on and you can just look at 1 or 2 magazines a month and dream about it? How can you bring those into your life? What are the steps that you would need to take? Do you need an online course? Do you need some materials? Do you need to clean out a room? Change a guest room into something else? Have you got kids who went away to school and you're keeping their room just so? Are they really coming back? Do they need to be in that room with those decorations? Can you use that space? How about outside? Are you interested in gardening? Do you have a garden? Are you interested in raising animals? Do you have acreage? Can you move to acreage? What does your daily life look like? I know I like to look around on Instagram and see different things. One of my favorites is Patina Farms, and it's these people that live in Ojai, California, and I love to watch their videos. And they're the Gianettis, and Brooke, and I think his name is Steven, and he's an architect and she's a designer, and they have a couple of books and they have all kinds of animals, and it's just really beautiful. That is not the area that I live in, and so I don't have some of the natural beauty that they have, but it has inspired me to work out around my house and in my garden and make it the way that I want. So you can work from the outside in or the inside out and write down what are the things that you would like to have in your reinvented life. How does this reinvented life align better with who you are and your beliefs and your values? Does this bring more integrity into your life? And how? Are you doing other things that have prevented you from living this way? And what are those other things? Are you forced into a certain pattern of behavior based upon other people's expectations or because of something that you used to do or a way that you used to be? It's all related, and I just want to help you be free. So look at your new life and write down what kinds of things would you do. What would your daily activities consist of? How much time would you spend on different things? If you're going to be working, how can you fit that into this schedule in an enjoyable way? If you can't quit your job right away and that's something that you think you would need to do, make a plan to get that done. Meanwhile, if you have a job that you're continuing in now or one that you're pretty sure you're going to go back to, how can you make those activities fit into your aligned and your more integrated life? Can you rearrange what you were doing there? Can you make it more enjoyable? It's possible it might just not match at all with who you have become now that you've realized things, now that you've had time to slow down and think about it. But maybe some of those things can be changed, and you might really, if it's your own company, you might believe in it in a better way. You might still believe in the way and the reason that you started it or that you created it, but possibly the way things are done and the people who are there with you can be done in a different way to contribute to your happiness and theirs. So write down the tasks and what that new life would look like at home, at work, however, in all of your activities. And then make a schedule. What would your day look like? And then look at it in a couple of days and edit it. And think about actually doing it. And then start doing it now. And everyone is going to be in the same boat. When the doors finally burst open and we all go run, I imagine it as a musical. We all go running into the street singing again. And we're excited, and some of us who are more loners or keep to ourselves might be the most crazy ones out there, so excited to embrace our family and our friends. But when the doors burst open, you have the opportunity to burst open as your authentic self. And I think it's so great. And everyone is going to be in the same boat. So I don't anticipate a lot of resistance. There may be, though, because as world events change and people come to certain realizations as we're going through this, we are changed people, and many of us are seeing things in a little bit different way or a lot different way. And there might not be any resistance. We're free. There was something free to be you and me. And each person has that opportunity now for themselves. So I don't anticipate a lot of judging or finger pointing. If there is some, then you can just say, hey, this is the new me. Come along. And then see what happens. Who fits and who doesn't. And, maybe we can just be joyful together. And I know that I might sound super idealistic. That's my natural default setting. And I am really excited about this time and where we can go from here, individually and together. So here we go. Be the change. This could be the biggest one yet. See how far you can go this week. And really do some soul searching and look at your life. You have the ability to make it however you want. You really do, in whatever your situation is. You can take one step each day to make it better. And if you fall back and you get nervous or pensive, or you say, well, wait a minute, I can't do this. You're getting pulled back into those old paradigms, those old patterns of other people's expectations or expectations that you set or that you announced. As I said last week, and go back and look at last week's video, you have permission to change your mind. That was then and this is now. And we're all moving forward. And I hope it's in a much more positive way and a happier way. So if this was helpful or gave you something to think about, give me a thumbs up. Leave any comments or questions below. Share this with someone who might need a boost, who maybe is all down in the dumps and feeling all locked in and afraid of what's going to happen next and afraid that they're stuck in their house with their cat forever. Share it with them. Let's open the windows. Hopefully you can where you live, if the weather's nice. If you can't, then you can do it in a figurative type of way. Open the windows to their mind. Open the windows to your mind. See what's out there. Come on, let's have some fun and be happy. Subscribe to see the other videos. Check out the playlist for other videos in a variety of subjects. I've got a whole bunch of new ones coming, so check those out. And subscribe to see the other videos. Come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.